Hello friends, and welcome to the video. In this video, we'll be ranking all the anime I watched over the spring. Yeah, I think that's we're gonna move fast. No long intro this time because it's probably gonna be a pretty long video. Because we're ranking, and I think this is 31 titles. But so here are the tiers. We got top tier, S, A plus, A, B, C, D, Shield Hero tier, which this is just the bottom of the barrel garbage. Dropped, which this is new. This is just a show I dropped, obviously, and then should have watched, which. Obviously self-explanatory. I originally had them in alphabetical order, but when I uploaded the file to upload the images, it kind of mixed them, so they are kind of loose alphabetical order, I think. I don't really know why TierMaker does that. It always does that. It always mixes them, but let's just jump on into it, yeah? So, if it's the morning, grab yourself an energy drink. If it's the evening, maybe grab yourself a nice, cold cherry limeade. That's what we're going with today. And let's just jump into this, yeah? So first off is The Ascendance of a Bookworm, Season 4, or Adopted Daughter of an Archduke is the other title. So this is one of my favorite isekai of all time, Ascendance of a Bookworm. I've talked about how much I love Ascendance of a Bookworm in the last tier list I did. Also, let me say this right now. Sorry. Oh yeah, before we talk about this, a few things. I was too nice in my previous seasonal tier list, so you can see this on the screen now. This is the updated tier list with me being harsher on the anime. And also the anime that I watched recently that I didn't watch by the time I made that tier list, which I think there's 3 of them. Three really good ones, actually. So, those are in there as well. Oh yeah, sorry that this is the second tier list in a row. There's actually going to be a third in a row as well. It just kind of worked out like that because of the way timing worked out, so I'm sorry about that. It'll be back to your regularly scheduled program after that. But anyway, back to Ascendance of a Bookworm. This is, I think, the third best isekai of all time. I don't think it's quite as good as Mushoku Tensei or ReZero, which we'll talk about ReZero here, not Mushoku Tensei yet, but it's amazing. And the only thing holding Ascendance of a Bookworm back was really the animation was kind of subpar in the first few seasons. I don't even know the studio animated it, but they're not a particularly good studio. And they fixed that now. Wit's animating it now. Wit is one of the best animations of all time. They used to be anyway. They've kind of fallen off since I think about 2023 was maybe when they kind of gave up on trying to produce a gorgeously amazing anime. They used to do Attack on Titan and Vinland Saga, but they kind of said we don't want to do this anymore. But they seem to be on a comeback. They had Love Through a Prism last season. They got 2 anime we're talking about this season, all of which are animated quite well. So maybe they'll figure it out and become one of the best again. But this season of Ascendance Bookworm is really good. So it is longer as well. It's going to continue airing into the next season, so we'll talk about next season then. It follows, mine is, she is now the adopted daughter of an Archduke, so she pretended to die, and she's now Rosamine, right? And I've seen some people complaining about this, and this is actually the lowest rated Ascendance of a Bookworm season. I don't get that. I saw some people talking about this, like they felt like mine was just portrayed differently, which, yeah, like she's in a different role now. She's gonna be different. It makes sense. Her personality is going to change a little bit as she becomes a noble. I think that makes sense. I think they handled it really well. I think the animation's really good. I think the story is compelling as she continues to go down the path of nobility. I really look forward to seeing how this continues to air, and it has some big shoes with the other 2 top 3 isekai that are airing. Well, ReZero, which aired this season, and then Mushoku Tensei, which just started airing now, and big shoes. Those seasons are kind of going crazy. But I think Wit will continue to do work. I think it's good. I think the animation's really good. It's not the Wit's best, but it's still leagues better than what it used to be. If you haven't given this anime a try, give it a try. I think you'll like it. It's one of the less popular isekai. It's a very strange concept for an isekai. It's very atypical. So I think it's really good though. I think this is the best season by a good margin. So I'm gonna put this in S tier. Actually, I think this was a great first half of a season. So Agents of the Four Seasons, Dance of Spring. This is Wit's other anime. This is also an anime based off a light novel by Hana Akatsuki, who she is the author of Violet Evergarden, if you didn't know that. And Violet Evergarden is one of my top 5 anime of all time. This is an amazing anime. It's not quite as good as Violet Evergarden. It tells a significantly different story. Violet Evergarden is a story about Violet, and predominantly it's a character-driven story. Well, this is character-driven at the same time. It also is more about the world and the institution of the agents as a whole, especially considering that I'm assuming, in the next seasons that Hinagiku is not going to be the main character. But I think it's amazing. I think the animation is astounding in this, truly. I think this is Wit's best work in a while, probably animation-wise, maybe since Ranking of Kings. I think is the last Wit animation I'd say that was really just blew me away animation-wise. The story is they're in a world where the seasons don't change automatically. They have 4 agents who have to manually change the seasons, right? And this girl, Hinagiku, who is the main character through the majority of this season, goes missing. She gets kidnapped because of reasons, and she kind of has a mental breakdown. And I guess Hana Akatsuki, the author, is just unbelievably talented at writing broken people, because the same thing happens with Violet, right? In Violet Evergarden. And the show starts with her returning and beginning to go through Japan and manifest spring everywhere she goes, because that's her job as the agent of spring. And she's also in love with this guy, Rose, but there's problems between them because of how she got kidnapped. It's really good. It tells a story about, healing and moving on and getting stronger, all good things. And this is it's a classic tearjerker anime. A lot of it, I think all the relationships between the seasons and their agents is compelling. I think it's their relationships between each other is compelling. I think the character writing is really good. And that is why this is one of my favorite anime of all time, and I'm putting it in the top tier. The only thing better would be the Second Coming of Christ. This is one of the few times I think there's going to be multiple seasons, multiple titles in that tier. But we'll talk about them when we get there. Needy Girl Overdose. I watched the first 3 episodes of this, and it just wasn't vibing with me, so I dropped it. I don't think it's a bad anime by any means. I think it's just not for me. It's pretty serious. It's very dark, which, I don't mind serious, or I don't mind dark, but at the same time, it's it's a little too real world dark, if that makes sense. It's too rooted in reality, and I watch media and stuff to escape reality, right? I'm not an escapist. I live my life. I have a job. I go to school. I have to deal with reality a lot, so I don't want to be watching reality unfold. Obviously, it's an idealized version of reality, and if you're into something like that, more social commentary stuff, but pretty serious social commentary, give this a watch. It's good. It's once again extraordinarily dark, so just know that going into this, but it just wasn't for me. And we're back. I had to let my cat out. Alright, Even a Replica Can Fall in Love. This is an anime, a romance anime. It's about these two. These are the main characters, and they're replicas. So in this world that this takes place, people have the ability to create replicas, and it's not explained how at first. They explain it at the end, but they're basically an exact copy of yourself that is your slave, essentially. That's what they're used for, right? And so she's a replica, and so is he, and you meet a lot more replicas. This show is just weird, though, because it's you'll have some episodes that are pretty serious and pretty good, tell pretty good life stories. Even the last episode, I think, has a pretty good message, even if the ending was kind of not great. Then you'll just have random episodes of nothing. It's really weird. I don't get it, 'cause it's not a comedy at all. And doing a slice of life thing that isn't a comedy is hard to do. I'll just be completely honest. It doesn't work very often. You got to be extraordinarily good at writing. You got to be something like Mushishi, which is, right, a slice of life that isn't a comedy, but it's hard to write something like that. And generally it's not going to work. So this didn't do it very well. It also has this weird filter on the whole show where the edges are blurred with white. I don't know why they did it. It looks like a dream, kind of. I don't know. The characters are okay. Some of the episodes are really good. I think there's 2 or 3 really good episodes in the show, but the rest of it's just give it a watch if there's nothing else to watch, but I'd say it's C tier. It's not particularly good. The Angel Next Door spoils me rotten. This anime is if you took a cake, but you tripled the amount of sugar in it, and then just poured all the sugar left on it. This is such a sweet anime, and it's also an anime that if you're single, be prepared, because it might make you feel kind of terrible, because it's something that you'll never have, is the classic. And their relationship is, maybe not the most common relationship in general. This anime was not very well received. It has a 7.24 on Mal, I think, something around there. I don't know why. I think it's just as good as season 1. And I love season 1. Season 1 was in the top 10 of my anime for a very long time. No longer there. The continuation, now that they're dating, is really cool. I understand a lot of people, I don't get this perspective, but, it's a perspective people have. A lot of people, once they get together, you no longer want to watch that. I don't get that. It just follows them getting closer, resolving some more of their past issues, Good stuff. He starts a job. It's kind of, I will say, the progress is kind of at a standstill, right? Because, they're clearly madly in love with each other. And they are now dating, so all they're really waiting for is, because he's already vowed to not have sex with her until they get married, or until he's old enough to marry her, he's just starting a job to save up for a ring to marry her. But, they're not old enough, so I guess we're just gonna have a few more seasons of no progress, but that's fine. It's really sweet. It's a very unique anime for what it does. I don't know if there's any anime that's as, like, openly affectionate as this. And I like that. I like novelty in animes, you know, I like to see something that's new and hasn't been done before. And this is a very wholesome anime where there's a lot of skinship, I guess is the term that's used. If you like sweet things like that, you know, give it a shot. You know, if you're single and you're sad about being single, definitely don't watch this anime. But I love this anime, I'm going to give it an S tier. Akane Banshi. This is an anime about Rakugo. If you don't know what Rakugo is a Japanese, but it's basically an art where you sit and you tell a story from multiple perspectives, a short comedic story from multiple perspectives, and the whole show is you doing all the characters, and you control, like, who is saying what, or which character you're being by vocal tones and face movement. It's a very interesting idea. You know, I think that's a really cool idea for a form of art. If I ever learn to speak Japanese and go to Japan, you know, I'll definitely go see a Rakugo show because of this anime. But this is really good. It's one of the new generation of shonen, right? And the old gen of shonen, right? Like Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball, all of that. That's over now, right? Dragon Ball is technically still ongoing, but then you had the newer generation, which is like JJK and Demon Slayer. That's also over now. The animes are still ongoing for those, but the mangas are finished, right? And so now we are kind of in this weird slot where we have this new gen of shonen, which there's like, it's not as good. I'm just going to be completely honest. Shonen is kind of in a disaster zone right now, because we're talking about two of them here. There's kind of like Gachi Yakuta, which I heard was pretty good, but at the same point, it's like that's never going to be as popular as the old peak of shonen. And there's one that's getting animated by Cypec next year. I think that is the only one that has the potential to really carry shonen from now on. This is an anime that's really good, you know? I think it's an amazing shonen. In saying that, it's just an anime that not everyone's going to enjoy, right? Because it's not action. It's about this girl. I guess you could call it a coming-of-age story, maybe. She's a Rakugo. Her father was banished from the Rakugo because of a poor performance, I guess. Though that's kind of left open. They do explain why he was banished. It's just a great story. I think the animation is really good. I don't know. The studio, I remember reading who animated this, and I was like, I've never heard of that studio before. So they did a great job. I think it's comedic. I think the story's really good. I think it tells a good story. I think if you're into entertainment, arts, like Rakugo, stuff like this, drama. I was in drama for a long time. I like stuff like that. I think you'll enjoy this anime. If you're not, you know, maybe you won't. If you're just into action or just into romance, this anime might not be for you, you know, but it's enjoyable for those of us that like it. I'm going to give this A+. I think it's really good. Botan Kamiina, Blossoms While Drunk, I think is the name of this anime. I didn't watch this because when I was looking at what I wanted to watch this season, I look at the manga that's getting adapted. This had like a 6-8 rated manga or something. So like, this doesn't seem very good. It's also, you know, it's the girl's love, Yuri practitioner, and so I was just like, I'm not gonna watch it. But it's performing arts, it's slice of life, two of my favorite things. Apparently it's really good, so I just didn't watch it. I missed out on that, so I put it on the should have watched tier. This is Appraisal Isekai is what I'm calling it. I don't remember the full name. This is trash. Okay, somehow it's not generic because he doesn't have a harem following around him. Right? He's a shota, obviously. He's tiny. He's an adult, though, I'm pretty sure. And he has a furry and a child following him. So it's like, hey, man, you get the freaks in, I guess. But, like, this girl who's, like, your typical isekai follower, right? Which is an elf with massive honkers. She's, like, vanishes from his party in, like, episode 2. It's okay. The animation's not terrible. The best part about this show is the ending song. The ending song goes kind of crazy. But it's not good, man. Some of the episodes were enjoyable. Like, enjoyable garbage. So I'm not gonna put it in Shield Hero tier, but this is going to teacher. This is not a good anime. It's you know, it's just an isekai. I think he gets transported. I don't know. Maybe he dies, but I think he gets transported to another world. And to be fair, the uniqueness besides like the party composition, the uniqueness in this one is his goal is to get back to his world. So you know that's unique. Most people because he's not a loser. In real life, he's kind of just a normal dude. And it's like, I have a family and friends, I want to go back to them. That's the goal, and that's unique, but it's still terrible. Okay, I just looked up. Ichijyoma Mankitsu Gurashi is the name of this. This is a cute girls doing cute things. Ecchi, sort of. It's pretty light as far as ecchi go. The only ecchi, really, is this girl likes to flash her panties all the time, and there's a swimsuit episode where one of them is wearing, like, an absurd swimsuit. But besides that, it's pretty normal. It's just cute girls doing cute things. This girl is mistaken for a mangaka, and so she goes to a really fancy school when she's from the country and poor, and she kind of pretends to be the mangaka, but not really. And, you know, it's typical cute girls doing cute things. If you like that genre, you'll probably enjoy this. You know, as normal with cute girls doing cute things, you know, there's that the touch of Yuri, you know how it is. It's like, imagine a LaCroix, right? Or any type of sparkling water. You take that, right, and the amount of flavor in that, right? It's like a drop. That's the amount of Yuri in most cute girls doing cute things. It's the same with this. There's maybe a little more in this one, because there's a white-haired girl, this girl back here. This girl is like clearly in love with her. It's okay. I enjoyed it more than this, but it's probably about on that level. Not you. No, definitely not you. You. No, stop grabbing this. Ichijyoma, you're there. So this is, I made friends with the I made friends with the second prettiest girl in my class. Fairly typical start for a romance. You know, this guy is a super loser. This girl is popular. Not the most popular. She's the second most popular. And he's really into bad movies, and she is sort of into bad movies too, and she finds out he's into bad movies, so she approaches him one time. It's like, hey, let's watch a bad movie together. Right? You know, fairly innocent start, and they start doing that every, I think it's Friday. They hang out, play games, watch bad movies together, and, you know, they fall in love. Cool story. It follows their story. There is some pretty serious stuff, because his parents are divorced, and they deal with that and how to deal with divorce. Added the enjoyment to me, because my parents are divorced, so I've had to deal with some of that stuff myself. I think it's a really great anime. I think the animation's pretty good. You know, the story is good, the romance is really good. I think the side characters are good, even if, I think her name's Yui, the prettiest girl, which, for the record, Umi is way prettier than her. But it's pretty solid. It's definitely one of the better romances that's come out. It's based on a light novel that is just ending now, I think. So, you know, is there anything else I really want to say about this? It's pretty generic besides that. They get together fast, which is kind of unique. But it's good. If you like romance, you'll like this. It's one of the better romances. Probably the second best romance we're going to talk about here. It kind of depends what you consider. Agents of the Four Seasons. I'm going to give this an A+. Yeah, I think it's about on par with Akane Banshi. I think that's fair. Kusunoki's Garden of the Gods. This is, the reason I watched this is a few episodes in, it was like a pretty decently rated. It's an Iyashikei. Iyashikei is one of my favorite genres in the world. But I'm going to contest this, okay? I don't think this is an Iyashikei. Iyashikei generally, calming themes, right? Life lessons, but it's normally episodic. This is not episodic. The first 6 episodes or so, yeah, that's pretty Iyashikei. I'm fine with that, but the last 6 episodes, like, that's pretty serious, man. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of stuff happening. There's story. That's not in my Iyashikei. But in this Iyashikei, that's what they did. It's still, like, okay, you know? It's nothing terrible. It's here's the thing, okay? That's what I'm gonna say with you, okay? It basically, let me give you a brief rundown of the story. This guy can see gods. He can't see bad spirits, though, or he's not supposed to, but he kind of can. I don't get it. They don't fully explain that, because at the beginning they say he's not supposed to be able to, but then he does. So, what was the point? He is super powerful. He has the ability. His writing has the ability to, like, dispel curses. And so because of that, he's able to purify the shrine he's staying in, and gods start staying with him. It's like Japanese mythology based, so if you know anything about that, you'll maybe enjoy this more. It's not, if you want an Iyashikei, don't watch this, okay? Like, if you're thinking of watching this, okay, because you like calming, okay, watch Mushishi, yeah? Okay? And then if you've already watched Mushishi, and you're like, you know what, I'm looking for more, right? Watch Mushishi again. Okay, because I'm sure you didn't pay attention to 100% of Mushishi because it's too relaxing. You probably started falling asleep in the middle of one of the episodes. Rewatch it. If you're still looking for more, you know, maybe give this a shot. It's not bad. I think it's better than these. I'm going to give it a B tier. Otagal, or Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku. This is a relatively unique spin on the typical romance because he's a loser, right? He's an otaku. And these are gals. And, you know, as typical, they end up with it. But, right, instead it's like you normally will have 2, he chooses 1. Not happening here. He loves them both. And he's a otaku for... It's a game called Glittermon. I don't know if it's supposed to be a joke on Pokemon or what. But the reason that they end up having anything to do with each other is because he's obsessed with this, like, 6-year-old girls show. And so is she! This super popular girl. And then they're friends, which is why she comes along, and she's just super happy-go-lucky. It's okay. It's pretty generic. It's kind of nothing special. Do I think it's better than these? Yeah, I'd say probably. I'd give it a B tier. Farming Life in Another World. This is the continuation of this, and he is still... he's still monogamous. At least the show makes it seem that way, which, if you read the light novel or look at the wiki, he has like 30 wives. So... he's still only fucking Lucy, I think is her name. But, you know, it's chilling, it's calming. It's an okay isekai. I think this is an anime that's much better watched weekly. So even if you haven't watched it and you're thinking, maybe I should watch this, you know, give it a try. But maybe don't binge it, because I don't think it's super well suited to that. You know, it's just more of the same as Season 1, really. I think I put Season 1 in C tier. But I enjoyed this more because I watched it weekly. And I think it's Probably better than these. I'm gonna give this a B tier. Daemons? I'm not 100% sure how it's supposed to be pronounced. Yosugi no Soro, I think is the Japanese pronunciation of it, but it's like Demons of the Shadow Realm, basically. This is an anime made by... Everything about this is the same as Fullmetal Alchemist. The author is the same, and the studio is the same as Studio Bones. Studio Bones, it's fucking really good. Maybe the third best animation studio at the current moment. It's them or Madhouse, I think. So the animation is going to be great. The story is these two twins. They are born in like a village that's isolated from the world, and in this village a special thing can happen, that when twins are born on either like 2 days, basically, so they're twins but they're born on separate days, they become twins that divide the sun, I think is what they're called. And so she has the power of break, which means she can break things, and he has the power of seal, which he can seal things. Now they have to die to gain these powers, and they're separated when they're children, and so she is living out in the normal world, and he is eventually attacked by her. And he leaves the village, and they start their life in the normal world looking for their parents, is the goal so far. This is also going to continue airing into the next season, so, you know, it's probably going to depend on how the season ends and stuff, because this is not as well rated as Fullmetal Alchemist, and I'm just going to be completely honest, it's not as good as Fullmetal Alchemist. It is still really good. The characters are good. I think, obviously, the animation is great. I think the idea is cool. They also... Besides break and seal, they also, the main power system is what's called demons, right? And demons come in pairs, and they have special powers. So he has left and right, for instance, where they're kind of just strong, but they're also made of stone. But you'll see all sorts of demons with all sorts of powers. It's cool. I like that system. I think the story has been really good so far, and I look forward to seeing where it continues to go from here. I'm gonna give this an A+. Damn, A is getting lonely. We'll get to something in A tier soon. This is My Hero Academia More. This is basically just an epilogue, or rather a punchline to My Hero. If you're gonna say, is every time he says anything to do with epilogue, is that gonna be on there? Yes, it is. I'm going to say that every time. And if you're wondering, every time he flubs, is he gonna put the Hachikuji clip in? Yes. So be prepared. It's good though. You know, it's not as good as the last 2 seasons of My Hero, I think, but it's pretty good. I think it's a good conclusion. Or epilogue. I don't like My Hero particularly, but this is pretty good. You know, I think it's just 1 episode. It's a special. So I'm gonna give this an A tier. I think it's better than this. But you know, you have to watch all of My Hero to watch this. Flyer Game, dropped it. I think I watched 2 episodes of this maybe. Once again, just wasn't for me. You know, the original manga is supposed to be really good. And Madhouse is animating this, so I don't think it was a bad adaptation. It's just I was watching it, it's boring. The only reason I would drop an anime is if I'm watching it weekly and I just dread watching it, right? Which, if I just find it like whenever the stuff airs, because I work, right, so I can't watch it right as it airs. I have to usually watch it in the evening or the next day. If I find myself that something is always getting pushed to the very end, and even then I still don't want to watch it, I'll probably drop it. And that's the case with this. Well, this one I don't think was bad. This one, maybe not the best, you know? It's also not for me, mystery. Generally not my favorite. It's not even... I don't know. It's eh. This is the Klutzy Class Monitor and the Girl with the Short Skirt, I think is the name of this. This is just an anime I should have watched. You know, it has over a 7.5 on Mal, which is generally my cutoff point for if I want to watch something. So, missed out on that. Lord of Mysteries specials. Now, if you watch my last tier list, you'll know I said I needed to rewatch Lord of Mysteries. So you might be wondering, did I rewatch Lord of Mysteries in the time while I was editing that video and this video? No, I did not. So why am I watching the specials, you say? Well, I have read the books. Or I've started reading the books. I've read the first 2. So I felt comfortable enough watching this. And I will say it's basically just covers cut content from the novels that didn't get covered in the anime, which I think is important because the anime is significantly different from the novels. Like, very different. Shockingly so. That was one of the things that I realized. Once again, I don't remember the original that well, which is why I need to rewatch it. I have started rewatching it. I think this is great. The animation is amazing. The Lord of Mysteries, the animation is strange, right? I don't know, because the character animation and the hand-drawn stuff is just, like, out of this world good, right? But the backgrounds, I think it's... Maybe they're using CGI or something, but it just looks weird, man. I don't know what they're doing. It just doesn't look right. It's kind of a turn-off for me. The animation's still really good, though. As Chinese anime almost always are, they just have bottomless budgets, I guess. That being said, this covers the stuff with the City of Silver, I think is what it's called, and then with... I think his name's pronounced, like, Chilanguas? It basically covers those 2 stuff, which is just some cut content from the novels. They're good. I mean, as specials, I don't think they're good at these. Maybe they are. Nah. I'm gonna give this an A tier. This is Mistress Kanan is Devilishly Easy. This is an interesting anime because this might be the first time I've ever seen Mal add a tag midway through an anime airing. When this first started airing, it was not considered an ecchi. It is now, and it should be. I'll say that. It's basically about this girl who's the daughter of an archdemon. Yeah, because there was a whole joke, because this was airing at the same time as ReZero, and she calls herself the daughter of the archdemon of gluttony, and everyone's like, hey! This is funny, considering ReZero's airing at the same time. But it's this girl, Kanan, who's, like, absurdly hot, right? You know, has the most absurd proportions known to man. And she is going to high school because she wants to eat human souls, and she ends up in a really unfortunate situation with a guy, and her wording makes him think that she wants to fuck him, but she just wanted to eat him, literally. So it leads to that, and they end up dating, and, you know, it's pretty typical from that. It's okay. It's funny. I will say that it's a lot funnier than most rom-coms. Also, her family. Oh my goodness. One of the main character trait of her is, like, even though she's supposed to be a demon, she's, like, the most bashful, pure-hearted girl of all time. Her family is fucked up, man. Her little sister, this one, Melty, I want to say is her name, just acts like an actual terrorist towards her because she wants attention, basically. And it turns her on. We're gonna have a running theme here. The mother wants to steal her boyfriend, though kind of not at the same time. It's like she pretends she doesn't, but she does. And then this girl is a cuck. Like, legitimately, she was like, she's like, the boyfriend, Kyogi is his name, is taking Kanan from me. But why does this turn me on? It's like, what is happening, man? There's also, like, a saint. It's a weird anime. You know, it's funny. Give it a try. You know, don't watch this. It'll make you hard, you know, which is a sign of a good ecchi, as I said in the last video. But it's okay. As far as ecchi goes, probably one of the better ecchi. But give it a try. Definitely don't watch it with anyone else around, though. This is I Want to End This Love Game. So, this is an anime about two childhood friends who, when they were in maybe elementary school even, but it's definitely at least middle school, this girl, Miku, fell madly in love with this guy because he was nice to her after her grandmother died. So she started the I love you game, which is you just say aishiteru, which is Japanese for I love you. In someone's, you get them and you try to make their heart race, basically. And so she just said to him, it didn't do anything to him until one year where he kind of became conscious of her as a girl and is now in love with her. And so it's kind of in that vein of a Kaguya-sama. Of Kaguya-sama, where two characters already love each other. They kind of know that they love each other, but they're just trying to get the other one to confess. That's the goal, right? This is not a super highly rated anime. It's like a 7.3 or 7.4. It's not the studio's fault. I think the material they're adapting is the weakest of the manga. I've kept my caught up with the manga. The manga's really good. It gets really good. I hope it gets a season 2, because the confession in this is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the craziest confessions of all time. It's good, though. I enjoyed it, you know. I think it's definitely better than these. No, it's probably about on par with those. I'm gonna give this a B tier. I think as it continues to move on, it'll go higher, because the manga's really good. And once again, this is a good adaptation. It's just the manga material is the weakest in the entire series. Monster Eater, okay. Funny story. The only reason I watched this anime was because I sat down, you know, as you do, right? And I was like, okay, let's do my like 3 or 4 week check and look at the anime I'm missing, because, you know, maybe I'm missing peak. And so I always check all the anime that are airing after about the 3 or 4 week mark just to see, am I missing peak, right? And I was missing some peak. Like, I picked up Akane Banshi was one of the ones I picked up when I did that check, and we're going to talk about Nippon Sangoku as well, which is the other one I picked up. I think those are the only ones. Technically, I picked up Yowayowa as well, but that was not because it was peak. And I saw this, right? And I saw it had a 3.3 on my anime list when I first saw it, which put it in the 100 worst anime of all time. So I was like, I got to experience this. If this is truly generational garbage, I have to watch it. It's really bad. Okay, I'm going to tell you. It's like, this is the best way you can describe it. It's Solo Leveling if it had bad animation, right? And the animation is egregiously terrible. It's basically a slideshow. Like, you could literally animate this in PowerPoint. Like, the manga might have better animation than this show. It's terrible. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. But at the same time, it wasn't a 3.3. It's not one of the worst shows of all time, I don't think. Like, the story's... It's Solo Leveling, right? It's just Solo Leveling, but with bad animation. Which sounds really bad, I know, but... If this was 24, it's 12 minutes per episode. If this was 24 minutes per episode, it would probably be, be even worse. Saying that, I'm putting it in shield territory. I'm not going to talk about the story of this. The show is terrible. It's just a power fantasy. MARRIAGETOXIN. This is one of the new Garda Shonen. Interesting idea, I guess. right? So they live in a world where people have modified bloodlines through mutations. That's kind of their whole life, is they're assassins. And this guy, Garo, is the main character. It's Garo Hikaru. He is trying to find a wife because his sister, who is
私はレズなのだ。荒木先輩は男だから今のでは少し言葉が露骨だったかな。言い直そう。私はユリなのだ。一緒だ、そんなもん!
So yeah, he doesn't want her to have to leave her love and get married to have a child, so he needs to find a wife so that he can continue on the Garo bloodline, because he's a poison master, right? And he is just terrible around women, like generally the worst person around women I've ever seen. And so he gets this, you would think girl, not guy, as a guidance counselor, basically. Guidance counselor, marriage counselor, I think is her official title, since and her job is to help him find a person to get married. And so he goes around being a white knight, basically trying to help people, help women to get their attention and make them fall in love with him. And the thing is that the premise is pretty cool, right? Like, I think that's interesting enough. The problem is he succeeds. He does a good job with 3. I think it's only 3. The Water Master, maybe. But he definitely succeeds with 3 women. And then he's just like, let's just be friends first. It's like, fuck, what are you talking about, man? It's like, your sister is gonna be forced into a marriage she doesn't want. Like, what are you doing? But that's what he does, you know? That being said, it's okay. I'm gonna give this a B tier. The animation's really good. It's Studio Bones again. Though they did use some weird CGI in the last few episodes, which I wasn't really down for. But Nippon Sangoku, this is just... I was not expecting this to... in my defense, right? So I always check the manga for all the anime. This had like a 7.2 or something as the manga. So I'm like, you know, maybe it's not that good. It's also a web manga. 3 weeks in, it had like an 8.5 on Mal. So I was like, am I missing peak? I watched it. I was missing peak, okay? I didn't know ball. That's my bad. Okay, this is unbelievably good. It is an anime about... It's more about the military as a whole, but this guy is kind of the main guy, right? And his wife... So they live in a post-apocalyptic world where Japan wasn't nuked, but basically, hey man, it kind of based all the immigrants that came to Japan, because the world was nuked, destroyed the economy and destroyed the country. And so also nuclear fallout. They're in a nuclear winter, eternal winter, basically. So the country's destroyed. They're back to like 1800s technology, basically, though there are some guns and stuff from the Japan era, as they call it. And there's 3 countries where Japan once was. And his dream is to unify Japan. His wife tells him that if you just had more, like, driven, if you were more driven, you could be somewhat special, basically. And then his wife is killed for standing up to an official. And he makes the decision to try to unify Japan and get Taira, is the official's name, out of power. And it's him, and it follows another guy who has an atrocious cut. I don't know his actual name, but they call him Sune-chan-san in the show. And he is an excellent fighter. This guy is a strategist. It follows the military and border general, I think his name's Ryomen, versus the Taira, who's the director of Home Affairs. It's just unbelievably good. Like, the strategy's amazing, the story's phenomenal, the politics are really good. I can't wait for the next season. I will say the animation, it's weird. Okay, when I first started watching this, I was like, the animation's not that good, but we'll stay with it. After watching it, I don't know if the animation wasn't that good. I think the animation style is strange. It's animated by Studio Kafka. I've never heard of them before, I'll be completely honest. It's an astounding anime. You know, if you like military dramas or stuff like that, or kind of overarching stories where they focus on multiple characters instead of one person, give this a watch. This is one of the best anime of the season. I'm going to put this in S tier. This is Ramparts of Ice. So this is by Studio Kai. Good studio. Also, it's by the author of You and I Are Polar Opposites, which aired last season and... No, 2 seasons ago, technically now. This coming season. It aired in the winter... Right? Yeah, the winter and the summer. And then Ramparts of Ice, season 1 aired in the spring, and it's gonna air season 2 in the fall. So this mangaka is just raking it in from her mangas. I think it's a woman that wrote this. It's very different from You and I Are Polar Opposites. A lot of people are comparing it to You and I Are Polar Opposites. Don't do that, okay? It's an extraordinarily different anime. But it follows these 4, basically, which is... Let's do it. Introvert, super extrovert, like unbelievably extrovert. Kind of introverted, but not as bad. And this guy is just a huge people person. And it's kind of a love polygon, I guess is what you could describe it as, where it's like no one really knows who loves who. But it ends up being that these 2 love each other, and then Yota is his name, definitely loves her. But she might not love him. It's a little complicated, you know, but it's really good. I think it talks a little bit... It's called Ramparts of Ice because she shuns people, basically. And that's the start of the show, is these two try to talk to her, and she's just not having it, dude. She gives them the death stare. It's like, don't talk to me. You gross me out, basically. But it's about, you know, breaking down those ramparts of ice and coming out of her shell. And she originally said that, like, it's like, you know, I don't know if romance will ever be for me. That's definitely not true. We're watching a romance anime. It's more slow burn than You and I Are Polar Opposites, though maybe not that slow. I don't know. We'll have to see when the confession happens, because it's only been 12 episodes, 14 episodes, actually, was the first season. So, you know, the second season we'll have to see. I think a lot of looking at this in retrospect will be how good the second season is when it comes out in winter. Kind of same with You and I Are Polar Opposites, honestly. I think this is about as good as You and I Are Polar Opposites, though. Maybe a little... I didn't enjoy it maybe as much, but it is more serious. I think it tells good life lessons. I think the character dynamics are really good, which is what you want in a show like this. So I'm going to put this in 8. We're looking at this for a second, okay? Because is it as good as I Made Friends with the Second Prettiest Girl in My Class? No. No. Is it as good as these two? Probably not, but it's better than these. Drop everything a tier. That's the play. No, I'm going to put this in A tier. Depending on what happens in Season 2, it might be A+. So we're on Yowayowa. This is not good. It's an ecchi. It's a very stereotypical ecchi. It has nudity. Which, you know, I would say about half the ecchis around have nudity. Basically, this girl, everyone thinks she's scary because she mumbles a lot and she kind of looks terrifying. But she's actually not Koa, which is spooky scary. She's a Yowayowa, which means weak and wimpy. She's a teacher. Like, it's her. It's a guy named Abikura. Typical ecchi, you know. She falls all the time because she's weak, and he catches her, often by grabbing her titties, or she falls on top of him and smothers him with her titties, etc., etc. I'm not going to talk about this one very much. Like, it'll make you hard, I guess, you know, but it's not good. It's worse than these. I'm giving it a D tier. S tier hentai, though. Okay, we're talking about peak, baby. First of all, the Monogatari reference. I don't know if that was intentional, but it's a Monogatari reference. It's peak. That's peak. Zoku Owara Monogatari. Whoa! Thank you, Hachakuji. Zoku Owara Monogatari is peak. And maybe it's just anything with a background like this is going to be peak, because my goodness, dude, this season is crazy good. It's currently the second highest rated season on Mal ever. It deserves the rating, man. This is so fucking good. It is covering arc 6, which I heard going into was maybe the best arc of ReZero. I've always heard the two arcs that stand apart from all the rest is arc 6 and arc 9. Arc 6 is obviously this one, arc 9 is about Al. Basically, after the fight of Pristella, they are going to the Sage at the Pleiades? I don't know how to pronounce that word, dude. There's too many vowels in a word in that. So they have to cross the sands, and they get to the tower, and they got to complete trials, basically, to get to the top of the tower to try to figure out a way to reverse the damage done by gluttony and lust in Pristella, but they all kind of have selfish reasons for going, except for, like, Amelia. Super wants to go, and so does Ram to help Rem. And Anastasia wants to go. Yeah, fuck it, we're spoiling this shit. Anastasia wants to go because she's not actually Anastasia. She's a spirit that's taken over Anastasia's body because Anastasia is sleeping within her Odo? And then they bring Meili with them because they need help with demon beasts. And Julius is also going for his own personal reasons. Just what a fucking amazing season. I didn't know they were going to do a split core until recently, so we're waiting until August. I'm currently reading Arc 6 as I was watching the anime. I'm on volume 3 of Arc 6 right now, which there's 5. Dude. There is a stretch of like 4 episodes in this case, because eventually Super loses his memories, right? And it is shocking to see how different Subaru is, like with all his memories from his time in the world of ReZero versus without. Like, he is a completely different person, basically, which like makes sense. But because we had that slow incremental building of character that happened through all of his intense suffering, Subaru is just a vastly different person once he loses his memories. And it leads to some of the best episodes in the history of anime happen once he loses his memories and he has to talk to all the people. It's so good, man. It is so good. I talked about before, I think this has one of the best episode 1s of all time. One of the best episodes of all time is episode 1 of this show. Speaking of one of the best episodes of all time, dude, holy shit. I think it's episode 11, whatever the last episode of this first core was. Oh my goodness, it was so peak, dude. It was so peak. Watch ReZero. ReZero is so good. This season of ReZero was so good. It has lifted isekai from like a C tier genre to an S tier genre. It's the best genre of anime now. Okay, that's how good this is. We're putting it up there. Speaking of isekai, an observation log of my fiancée who calls herself a villainess. Interesting anime. This is the first ever Villainess anime I've ever watched. So I don't know how typical it is for Villainess anime. I really enjoyed this anime though. Basically, they're in a Otome game, which is basically like a dating sim, but for girls. And so a girl reincarnates as a villainess, and a girl also reincarnates as the heroine, and this dude is a prince. And like she's supposed to be the villainess, but she's actually like a super nice person. She ends up like falling in love with the prince, and they have a really nice romance. And she originally tries to self-destruct because she feels like she needs to become the villainess to save him by letting him be with the heroine, but it just doesn't work out that way. And they end up falling in love, and they get married at the end. Great ending. I am aware that the end of the light novel, they've covered all the light novels, but there is a sequel light novel that's called An Observation Log of My Wife that calls herself a villainess. So maybe they'll do that, you know, and I hope they do, because this was a really nice anime. I really enjoyed it. I think it, you know, has some important life messages there about emotions and touchy-feely, all that nonsense, right? Who wants to talk about that? We're nerds. We're freaks. We don't need emotions. But it's a really good anime. I'm going to put this in B tier. No, I'm fine with that. But it's better than those. I'm not gonna lie, like these three are not very good. The animation style is really weird in this show. I'm gonna say, by the way, it's good, but I don't know what was going on, but I like the animation style. It's just strange. I've never seen an animation style like that. This is Tensura. Tensura season 4, the first core. If you were unaware, by the way, Tensura season 4 is gonna have like 5 cores. Crazy! With the first 2 airing consecutively. So you know, this is continuing to air as well. Really good. It basically covers, it's more of this guy, Yuki, I want to say is his name, and then Mary. So the way it's spelled and the way it's pronounced is different, because I'm pretty sure it's spelled Maribel, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Mariabel. So you know, take your pick, whatever you want it is. It kind of covers those two. The animation, first time I'm ever saying this in Tensura. Tensura, pretty good story, you know. The action was okay. The world was really good. That continues here. The animation was not good. Especially watch like season 1, like holy fuck, dude, that animation was trash. It's great now though. I don't know what I think it's 8-Bit does this. 8-Bit has been known for doing some trash animation. They did Blue Lock, which was a disaster from what I hear. But the animation's great, man. They figured it out. I don't know how they figured it out, but they figured it out, and it's really good. It's by far the best season of Tensura. I will say, Tensura is always like, the villains have these super intricate plans just to be foiled by Rimuru, who seems like he's not trying at all, which I guess is the point of Isekai. Put this in A+. I think this is the best season of Tensura. Which Hat Atelier. I'm going to talk a little bit about non-anime stuff, because all you see, the entire dialogue around this anime is one side saying, oh, this anime is great. And it's like, okay, well, why is it great? Because diversity, bro. It's like, look at how diverse the people are. But first of all, in the first season, not that diverse, okay? There's one black woman, but they're like, diversity, bro. Like they're Yuri, the 2 main characters. Like, okay, that's not particularly uncommon in anime, so I don't know why we're talking about diversity. But you know, and I'm anti-diversity. Diversity kind of sucks, right? Okay, we can all agree there. But then there's the other crowd like, don't watch it, bro. It's like a mainstream lib fag slop, right? Which, like, it's not that. It's good, okay? And just talking about the story, it's a really good story. The animation is really good. Bug Films animated this. One of the best animation studios of all time. The way it's drawn is amazing. There's particularly one scene where they're fighting a dragon, which then Kifri, pre-Gojo, the Alpha Gojo, draws a golden dragon. It's just, oh, the animation's amazing. I've seen some people talk about like the trailer for the next season, like the animation's worse than the manga, which is like, oh my goodness, they couldn't adapt a seinen manga perfectly well with animation? No way! It's never gonna happen. If you're really into seinen, maybe I'll do a video on seinen at some point. If you're really into seinen and seinen gets some anime adaptation, do not expect it to be as good as the manga. It's never gonna happen, and that's kind of by design. It's just the way seinen's done. It's good though. It's, you know, it's not one of the best things of all time. It is really good though. I think the story is good. I think, you know, it's kind of a typical story. I like a outsider who has no powers gets stronger, you know, and there's nothing bad with using up tropes like that. They tell a compelling story emotionally about these character traits. The characters are really good. The animation's obviously just phenomenal. The world's interesting. Basically, in this world, you have witches and magic, which is hidden from everyone. But the way magic is actually done is it's very simple. You just have to have a special ink and you draw. And that's it. And most people think you have to be born with magic, which is not the case. And the main thing is you have the pointy caps. I don't know what they're actually called. But you have the main people who are supposed to be the good guys, and then you have the brimmed caps who use forbidden magic, which is like magic that you do on your own body or stuff like that, right? It's compelling. I look forward to seeing how it continues. The animation, I hope, will stay the same quality or get better. You know, we'll always take better. I think it's probably on par with these. I'm going to put it in A+ tier. This is The Warrior Princess and the Barbaric King, I think is the name of it. Or The Barbarian's Bride, I think is the alternate title for it. It's a really good concept, right? I'm always happy to see rom-coms with unique concepts because the school setting has been done to death, and I'm not saying it can't be good. You know, one of my favorite anime of all time is Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, which came out recently and is a very generic anime, but I mean, you gotta, if you're gonna do something generic, you gotta be the best at it, and that's why I think Fragrant Flower is so good. It's an adult romance, which is always, you know, interesting. He lives in a barbarian tribe, and she lives in some advanced kingdom, and he captures her, and he wants her to be his bride. And then they get closer while they fight and uncover mysteries and stuff. It's pretty good. The first episode has a pretty crazy scene, which was why I decided to watch it. I'm not gonna lie, this was another one that I wasn't planning to watch originally. It's good. I think their relationship is compelling. Like the world is interesting enough, but it just doesn't do anything special. It has such a great premise to kind of not execute on that premise really well, which is unfortunate. Maybe it'll get better. Maybe it won't though. I don't know. It's worse than those. I'm gonna put it in C tier. My Ridiculous Reincarnation. I was expecting this to be Isekai Slop. I'm not gonna lie. The original Japanese title is insane. Expecting this to be Isekai Slop, it kind of was, but it wasn't at the same time. I think it's fair to call the first 10 episodes of this a parody. The last 2 episodes are actually pretty story rich though. Originally, so the idea is this guy is just down bad, like historically down bad. Okay, like might be the most down bad man of all time. And he dies and is reincarnated, but he's an abnormality basically, so he gets sent to this goddess, and her job is reincarnation. And so it's like, you know, well, maybe he gets reincarnated as a hero or something. But it takes an interesting concept, which is always like, well, if everyone's getting reincarnated when they die, no, not everyone can be a hero, right? Unless there's an infinite number of worlds out there, which I guess is possible. But, you know, most people are not going to be that. And this explores that, where it's like, they say, it's like, oh, you could be a hero or a demon lord. It's like, well, what's the wait time for that? A few thousand years. So it's like, yeah, let's not do that. So he basically gets reincarnated as a bunch of really weird stuff. The first thing he sees is like the rib of the hero. He gets reincarnated as a door at one point, as a clock tower hand. It's really weird. Now, this is a studio that I'm pretty sure is pretty new and hasn't done a lot of things. And they chose to do a very unique thing with animation, which is when the scenes are these two, the goddess and this guy, I don't even know if he has a name. I'll be completely honest. The animation is just really good. Like, their sprites are animated astoundingly well. Like, top tier looking sprites. Whenever they're in the reincarnation, the animation style is different for each reincarnation, which I like, you know, because they're different worlds. It should look different, man. And they do it, you know, and it probably saves a lot of time and money, which if you're going to not have a really good budget for something, you still want to do good animation, do something like that, you know, it's unique. This is funny. I think the reincarnations are funny. There's even some, like, some of the reincarnations are not animated at all. They're just real people walking around. But, you know, it's kind of, there's a nice romance between the goddess and him as well. And it ends really nice with them staying together, basically. I think it's heartwarming. I think it's good. It was much better than I expected. That being said, I thought it was going to be like D or Shield Hero tier. It's only like B tier. But that's way better than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, that's it. Let's take a quick gander at this. This is what we're going to do. You're going to C tier, and you are going to D tier. If this had a better ending, it would have gone up. This had a really bad ending. I think that makes this more balanced. Hello everyone, Future Aiden here, and thank you for watching the video. You know, if you made it this far, that's what I want you to do. I want you to leave your comment, and I want you to tell me what your favorite anime of the spring was. You know, there was a lot of great anime this season. Let me know what your favorite anime was, and, you know, also leave a like, comment anything. You know, you don't have to comment that. You can comment whatever you want. Let me know if there's anything I should watch. Just anything, really. I always read the comments. You know, subscribe, share it, ring the bell, all the YouTube stuff. You know how it is. I'm going to keep this pretty short. So the next video will be another sort of tier list. It's a little complicated. You'll see that when it comes up. This also didn't take me as long to finish as the last videos. This is only about a 2-week period between the last video and this one, which I'm happy about. I'm happy I was able to get it done sooner, but I think that's about it for me. You know, no reason to yap, even though that is my name. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I hope you had a blessed day, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.